again with another video. I know you guys have been wondering where we've been. I just went to another city in England for a few days.
Me and Mike, we're not friends anymore, man. we had an argument, and we were literally about to quit YouTube, innit? I'm joking. Mike traveled, innit? So yeah.
Yeah, we're back at it, man. Gonna be consistent again and give you guys amazing content, man. Appreciate your support always.
Come on.
But yeah, man, no more breaks.
For sure, we got to lock in now, man. You know, we can't go more than even a day, Mike. I think, no more than a day, bro. Like we got to really lock in, you know. But yeah, today we have World War I Oversimplified. Mike, what do you know about World War One?
I know more about World War II. I'm not the biggest. I don't know a lot of knowledge about World War One.
Okay.
What about you?
Same. I don't know much either. The only thing I know though is the war started because of an assassination, something like that, of the Austrian. I think he was an Austrian king or something like that. Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Okay.
Yeah, he got assassinated, and that was like the trigger for the war.
To the World War, madness.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, I'm sure some of you guys in the comments know more than us. If you have any interesting or extra information that you want to, educate us on, let us know in the comments. Enough talking, let's dive in there.
Let's go.
The world of 1914, a time of modern technology, culture, and fashion. Truly the height of civilization. Let's have a war. Everyone knew a big war was coming. France wanted some stuff back that Germany had taken from it. Germany wanted to take more of everyone's stuff, and they were building a big sexy navy that was making the British uncomfortable. These two empires thought they were really cool, but lots of different people who lived there didn't think it was so cool. And some of them had even been declaring independence with help from Russia. Everyone was talking about each other behind each other's backs. Throw in the fact that military technology had come a long way since the last major war, and suddenly everyone was pretty eager to beat each other up. In this area of Austria-Hungary live some Serbs and Bosnians who hated living in Austria-Hungary. So the Austro-Hungarian Archduke Franz Ferdinand goes there for a nice drive in an open-top car with his car's route published in advance. And that went just about as well as you'd expect. Some assassins were waiting for him along the way and threw bombs at his car. But they missed and blew up some officers behind him instead.
Whoa.
So the Archduke goes into hiding, leaves Sarajevo, and the whole war never happens. Except no, the Archduke doesn't leave, but instead goes back out in the open-top car to visit the injured officers in hospital. The driver takes a wrong turn and by sheer coincidence gets stuck beside one of the failed assassins, who shoots him. Austria-Hungary is understandably pissed about all this, and they think the Serbian government had something to do with it, which they...
That's how you know his time was up. On a different day, he would have made a right turn, and he would have survived, fam. That's crazy.
Might have. So they go to their ally Germany and say, hey Germany, we're going to declare war on Serbia, and Germany is all for that. So Austria-Hungary send a big list of impossible demands to Serbia, and when Serbia refuses, they declare war. Austria-Hungary and Germany are friends, and Serbia is protected by Russia, who's friends with France, so they'll declare war on each other. Montenegro joins in too. France and Britain also have a kind of alliance, so when France says, hey Britain, you got my back? Britain is like, sure. Maybe. And then they decide to stay out of it, which is great for Germany, because Germany has a plan. They know that Russia is so big and clumsy that it will take them a while to get ready for war. So with this guy in charge, Germany will send all its troops into France at lightning speed while Russia's getting ready. Defeat France, then move all the troops to Russia and defeat Russia, and then we all speak German and eat Pfefferpottast every day. Just one problem. France has loads of forts and defenses along its German border, and Germany can't waste any time fighting them, so Germany decides to go around them. Through Belgium.
Wow.
Belgium is neutral, but Germany wants to march 750...
So these men are trying to fight on two fronts, fam. They're trying to take on France and take on Russia, bro. That's a big task, man.
That's not easy task at all.
Yeah, like, bro, who did these guys think they are, man? I swear I'm like, bro, relax.
Belgium is neutral, but Germany wants to march 750,000 troops through it to get around France's defenses. They're hoping Belgium will just kind of sit down and shut up, but they don't. They fight back, and they're pretty good too, so they slow the Germans down. What's worse is that Britain shows up, and they're pretty pissed that Germany's invading neutral countries. So now Britain declares war on Germany. So Germany push on through Belgium and commit some atrocities along the way. They also wear spikes and sometimes skulls on their uniform. So if you're trying to not look like the bad guys, good job. The Allies have a propaganda extravaganza, and this starts having an influence around the world, notably in America. The US President Woodrow Wilson sees himself as a bit of a Jesus figure and spends most of the war trying to get everyone to just hug it out. But there's also a large population of ethnic Germans living in the United States, and when the war first broke out, they were like, yay, Germany. But now that they're committing atrocities in Belgium, they're less enthusiastic. Let's play Spot the French Soldier. Did you see him? Easy, right? He's wearing a bright blue uniform with red trousers. And do you know who else spotted him easily too? The Germans. So when the French were slowly marching in columns through the countryside, the Germans easily tore them to shreds with their giant guns. All the nations involved in this war went in with an old school war mentality, and all of them had to update their uniforms and tactics a lot during the Great War. Because this war was going to be like nothing anyone had ever seen before. Russia's ready for war, and way earlier than expected. Hey Austria-Hungary, can you get on top of that? Oh yeah, sure, we've got this. Nope. So Germany has to send some troops back to the east to defend against the Russians. The chief of staff of the Austro-Hungarian army is this guy, and although he is handsome, he turns out not to be the best military strategist. Austria-Hungary constantly ignores Germany's advice, and then comes running back to Germany whenever they get in trouble. Austria-Hungary even gets its ass kicked by tiny Serbia, who repels all their invasion attempts at the start of the war. It's better news for Germany in the north, though, where they almost completely wipe out the Russian Second Army. Back on the Western Front, the Germans continue advancing and are in sight of Paris. At this point, anyone would be forgiven for thinking the Germans were going to get that quick victory after all.
So Germany was just so powerful, bro, in the early 1900s.
Yep, even in the Second World War as well, fam.
Obviously, we know that, innit? But I didn't know they were this powerful as well.
Yeah, same. You know, this man is. I don't know, man. You know, maybe along with the UK, they've always been the two most powerful countries. I think Germany and the UK and France as well.
You're talking about Europe.
Yeah, military wise.
Okay.
Actually, everything. Actually, economy as well. You know, they're up there. They're trying to do too much. That's the thing. You're taking on too many people. You know, even with a strong military, that's too much, man. Yeah.
For sure.
But then things start to go wrong. The French commander-in-chief knew something had to be done, and he ordered his armies to stop retreating. In the resulting battle, a gap opened up in the German lines. If a gap opens up, the enemy can use it to flank you from the side and behind, so the German armies have to retreat. The Allies launch a counterattack, so the Germans dig into defensive positions. The Allies do the same. Then both sides move north, trying to outflank each other along the way. When they reach the sea, they're in a stalemate with trench systems running the whole way from the coast to Switzerland, the beginning of trench warfare on the Western Front. Here's how trench warfare works. Two opposing lines of trenches with no man's land in between. One side would pummel the other with hundreds of thousands of artillery shells, sometimes for days at a time. This had a huge psychological effect on the soldiers, leaving many shell-shocked. Then, the attacking troops would leave their trenches and rush across no man's land. A muddy, wet mass of shell...
I heard these trenches, Mike, apparently the conditions were absolutely ridiculous, bro. You know, people had, what's this, you know when your foot gets infected? Do you know what it's called? Yeah, they had that.
I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, diseases was rampant all over those trenches. People
athlete's foot.
Yeah, I think something worse than that. There's something that's worse than that.
Yeah, the one where you're cold.
Yeah, because you know those trenches, fam.
I forgot what it's called.
It's very wet, and imagine like you're standing on wet ground for days or weeks or months. So your boots are gonna be very wet, soggy. Your feet is gonna be, bro, you know. So yeah, the conditions were crazy apparently.
Craters and barbed wire. The defending trench would unleash machine gun fire on the attackers, inflicting thousands of casualties. The attackers would send wave after wave until either they gave up or the opposing trench was finally overrun. There would be months of fighting and the deaths of thousands in order to gain a few meters or kilometers of land. Living in the trenches was hard work too. Corpses, mud that could swallow you whole, Pools of poisonous water, rats, disease, the smell. It's insane that millions of soldiers put up with these conditions and commanders ordered them to do so for years.
Years. Okay. And even the First World War had an impact as well on the Second World War,
For real?
Yeah, because Hitler was angry that Germany lost the First World War and the fact that they had to pay reparations. I think it's called the Treaty of Versailles, something like that.
Yeah, I know about the Treaty of Versailles.
Yeah, so yeah, Hitler was angry about that.
I studied history in GCSE. What about you?
Same.
I
Man.
really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorite subjects.
Same, bro. Nazi Germany was probably my favorite topic, fam.
It was just so easy to remember everything once you're actually interested. So yeah.
Yep. But what's your takeaway, bro?
Man, I just didn't know that Germany was so powerful in early 1900s and that they were taking on so many people.
Yeah.
And they just thought they were bigger than they actually were. And that's why they lost 2 wars, man.
Yeah. And also one thing that that I've noticed about war, is like if you have a common enemy, even if you're not best friends, fam, but if you just have a common enemy, like or at least countries are willing to work together to get rid of like a common enemy in it. So for example, like France and Russia, for example, or the UK and Russia would work together to get rid of Germany, even though they're not really best friends, but because they have a common enemy, they're willing to work together. So yeah,
For sure.
well, yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash this like button. Yeah, that's it.